It's Kelly. Kaylee. His name is Kaylee.
I was adopted when I was 2 years old. So before I go ahead and jump into the story, I do want to specify the terminology that I'm going to be using in this video. A lot of people misuse terms for parents. So when I say birth parents, I mean the people who birthed me. When I say my real parents, or my parents, I'm talking about those who raised me. A lot of people like to refer to birth parents as real parents. So people will talk to me and come up to me and be like, oh, well, what about your real parents? But to me, my real parents are those who raised me. So my adopted parents, those are my real parents. They raised me, they took care of me, those are my real parents. So I just want to make sure that's clear when I am going ahead and telling this story. 1998, let's go back to 1998.
Where's your smiles? What kind of smile is that?
Me and my sister were removed from the home when we were young. We were around 1 or 2. The home wasn't fit to raise children. So me and my sister were both removed from the home. And when we were removed from the home, we were put in foster care. But we were separated. She was in her own foster home and I was in a different foster home. Thankfully, my social worker, she did the best job she could to keep us together. So when we were adopted, which I was 2 at the time and my sister was 1 at the time, we were adopted together. And I cannot thank her enough for that. Rewind to before our adoption was finalized. I have a couple fun stories. So during that time, I'm not sure about now, the process of adoption, it was kind of interesting. So they give you this big old book of children and you just flip through the book. You flip through the book of children and you look to see if there's any children that kind of stand out to you, I guess. And when my mom saw me and my sister, her and my dad were like, yep, that's it. Those are the kids for us. And when she went ahead and called my social worker was like, I already had these files picked out for you. So it was kind of like a God thing. When they say everything happens for a reason, I really do believe that, and I feel like God had a plan.
Happy vacation.
Oh, don't get so excited.
How old are you? Tell mommy. And what's your name? Tell mommy your name.
Kelly.
What's your name?
Monster.
I can't hear you on the tape.
I'll say it loud.
She said monkey.
What's your name? You. What's your name? Kelly.
Kaylee Maria.
You're not either Kaylee Maria.
I'm telling Kaylee.
Oh.
Kaylee Maria.
Kaylee Marie. We say Maria when we're mad, huh?
Kaylee Maria.
What's your name?
No, Kelly Anchor. Kaylee Maria. No.
Daddy Michael.
Daddy Pocket.
What's my name?
Mommy Kernan.
After that, they picked us out, we would have visits. So during the first few visits, my mom and dad would take us like to the park or we would just hang out. And during one of the visits, my mom was holding me. We were sitting on a park bench and I guess she was rocking me and I was kind of falling asleep. And I had looked up at her and asked her, will you be my mommy? And my mom was like, yeah, like that's when I knew like this is for sure, like this is right. After we were brought home, about a year into me and my sister getting settled in our new home with our parents, God dropped another little child in our hands and added my littlest youngest sister to the family. And that completed our family of 5. And it's crazy because a lot of people, at least growing up when I was younger, a lot of people saw adoption as a negative thing. I would tell my story with happiness, joy, and people would, kind of shy away from it and be like, I'm sorry. It was kind of a taboo topic. For me, like in my experience, being adopted was one of the best things that I believe that could ever happen to me. I am very, very lucky and grateful. So I feel like people as a society and as a whole, we need to be more open to these conversations and more open to the idea of adoption and not see it as a negative thing. It shouldn't have a negative connotation. There was kind of a struggle when I was in school. In elementary school, my peers didn't understand like the whole idea of adoption. My parents, they would come in and help as parent teachers, and they'd be at all of the festivities and the activities. They were very involved. And me being African American and my parents being white, you know, students did not believe that they were my parents. They could not wrap their head around it, which I understand because they were kids, and you know, but it did take a toll on me and my sister. From the moment I came home, like, I have always known the adoption story. My parents have been open and honest and transparent about our story, and there wasn't a time I didn't know the details of my adoption and my adoption story. They didn't hide it, which, I mean, how could they? I'm African American, my sisters are African American, and they're white, so there's not much hiding you can do. But they were very, very honest, which I really appreciate. So growing up and knowing that story, it's like I wasn't adopted, like they were just my parents, you know? So it's really hard, and when I was younger, it was hard to wrap my head around that and see students looking at me and seeing something completely different and not understanding where I came from and what the story was and kind of just the basics of adoption. So it was kind of hard growing up when people were like, those are not your parents, I don't believe you, like, no, like, there's no way, you guys are two different colors, like, it doesn't make any sense. So that was hard for me when I was in elementary school. That was one of the obstacles I had to overcome. When I got older, it was a little bit better. As you get older, you kind of know more about adoption. Although it got better in middle school and high school with people understanding adoption and understanding that those are my parents, even though we are two different colors, it did still have a negative connotation. Whenever students would criticize my sister and I about being adopted and kind of shame us for it, my mom and dad always told us to say, well, my parents picked me. They picked me out specifically. Your parents didn't have a choice. So that's just something that she told us to say, because there were times when there were certain students that would really harp on it and like really look down on the situation and look down on our adoption. And you know, it did take a toll, but you know, our family is so strong. We're very, very close. I truly believe that God had a plan and he knew what he was doing when it came to my sister and I, and also my younger sister. We were all meant to be together. We were all meant to be a family. I wouldn't trade my experiences for the world. It's crazy how God works and how this whole process has worked. I am so thankful for the family that I have. I hope that by talking about this and bringing awareness to adoption, that people are more open to the idea. There are so many kids who need loving homes. It's crazy because the younger you are, the more likely you are to be adopted. It seems like the way the system's set up, the older you are, the less likely you are to find a home. So I think that having these conversations is really important, because adoption shouldn't be like a negative thing. It should not be something that people are shy away from or turn the other cheek or apologize. When someone says that they were adopted, no one should be apologizing. That should not be a thing. If anything, people should be congratulating that person. So I hope this brings awareness to people and makes people more open to adoption. Adoption should not be a negative thing. At the end of the day, if someone is being adopted into a loving home, if there is a kid who finds a home and finds parents who are gonna love them and care for them and give them unconditional love, then that's not a problem. That's a great thing. That is a positive thing. But thank you guys so much for listening to my story. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me or reach out to me. Mom and Dad, I do want to let you guys know that I am very, 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 very thankful that you guys chose me. I am very thankful for all that you've done for me, raising me, and you are literally the best parents in the world. I would not be where I am without you guys and your unconditional love and your never-ending support. I love you both so much. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye-bye. Say bye-bye, Mommy.
Bye-bye, Mom.